other end of it is connected to my waist. So I'm walking through the house, and there's a path through the house, and I go to my room, and then when I go back to the back door. So when I go out the back door, I have to walk the exact same path so that the rope won't get tangled up around stuff.
Okay, now let's try that. Okay, Bronny, hello. Ronnie Braun, how are you now?
Okay, Bronny, hello. Ronnie Braun, how are you?
Let's try that.
Connected to my waist. So I'm walking through the house, and there's a path through the house, and I go to my room, and then when I go back to the back door. So when I go out the back door, I have to.
Hey, McSpeed, how are you?
The exact same path, so that the rope won't get tangled up around stuff.
Okay, now let's try that. Good, McSpeed. Good to see you in the house today. Good to see you. McSpeed, what are you going to do on your camper? What's your next camper project? Your next step on your camper? I think I've pretty much settled on my fiberglass camper. My fiberglass Coachman truck camper. Because my fiberglass Coachman truck camper, my fiberglass Coachman truck camper. All right, now my fiberglass Coachman truck camper is, it sure is fiberglass, but my fiberglass truck camper it's a good camper. It's got nice features. It's got a heated basement, 4 seasons. And even though it's got fiberglass siding, I found a way to get the siding. This is my neurotic history. Okay, this is my neurotic life. Oh, nice. So you're hauling away the old aluminum siding. Almost done putting the new stuff on. I think your fiberglass is 1, 2 best. Oh, okay. That sounds good. Yeah, the fiberglass. Fiberglass one is the best. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping it because McSpeed, I've done a lot of work on the fiberglass camper, and it's important. It's a good camper, and so I'm just learning how to repair it and fix it. And you're looking good. You're doing yours. Are you ordering new fiberglass siding, or what are you putting on it? New aluminum or what? I'm eager to see it when you do it. And what kind of insulation are you doing? Oh, new rolled aluminum sheets. Oh, that sounds real nice. Sounds real good. Okay. Standard installation. Oh, good. Okay, here's my neurotic history, okay? Oh, here we go. It's a special.
Mental health. This is February 2023.
Okay. Oh, here we go. It's a special.
Mental health. This is February 2023.
Okay. Here we go now.
For my mental health.
Okay, here we go. Special treat.
Mental health. This is February 2023. Now, for my mental health, we'll talk about obsession, compulsive behavior. Now, one thing that I think is that I have to do my rituals, my OCD rituals. If I don't do my rituals, then bad things are going to happen. If I think thoughts a certain way, if I think a certain thought, then it's going to carry over to real life, and it's going to make things happen. So based on whether I think these kind of thoughts or the other kind of thoughts, it's going to make things happen. If I get too confident, if I think positively and try to be too confident, I'll automatically make bad things happen if I try to be positive. If I try to be positive, it'll make bad things happen. If I have less confidence, then good things will happen. If I try to think nothing bad will happen, something bad will definitely happen. But it only happens because I think too positively or become too happy. Those are the things. And so, doing rituals, um, like dogs. Lately, I've had a ritual of dogs. When I'm in my car, get in the car, I have to pick up an invisible dog and put it in the car because I'm afraid dogs are going to be abandoned in parking lots. Dogs are going to be abandoned on the streets and dumped on the street or accidentally left behind. If I don't do the ritual of putting the invisible dog in the car, the imaginary dog in the car. So I do that to stop the animals from being left on the streets. And so things I do also, uh, if if something bad happens to me, like if I get mugged, or I'm not going to say I'm going to get mugged, but if I got something bad happen to me, someone curses me out on the street, I could be in the same place where it happened before, and I don't want to be in the place where it happened before. But also, I don't want to be thinking the thoughts or wearing the clothing that I was wearing when the bad event happened. So if I was wearing a tie-dyed T-shirt when someone flipped me off in traffic, I don't want to wear the tie-dye T-shirt because I'm likely to think that while I'm wearing that shirt, that something bad's going to happen while I'm wearing it. It becomes an omen, a negative omen to wear that shirt. Also, another thing that I've went through is, especially when I was thinking more religiously, I was thinking I would read billboards and signs that are advertisements would take a personal meaning for me. They would take on a personal meaning. I do have unwanted thoughts, persistent thoughts. If there are people that I don't want to be around, neighbors or coworkers, I have to, I don't want to think about those people, but I lay in bed thinking about these people. They're in my mind, worrying, thinking what's going to happen, about the people. And I just have people and things in my mind that I can't get off my mind. I lay in bed and think about it. It's in my mind, and I have to do some kind of behavior or change my words. I say random words to shake off the obsessive thoughts. The obsessive thoughts come in my mind that won't go away. I think of something like Harry Truman, Harry Truman, Harry Truman. And I start saying that to myself over and over, that Harry Truman. And I try to do that to get the obsession out of my mind of bad neighbors or, bad coworkers or whatever that's plaguing my mind with an obsession. So I have to say Harry Truman to myself. I also do rituals of counting. I count down to zero when I'm going to shut the door because there's imaginary spirits and imaginary people that I want to let into the car with me, and I don't want to shut the door on their hands and mash their hands in the door. Like when I was a kid, I got my finger mashed in a door. So, I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, giving the imaginary invisible people time to get in the car before I shut the door. So I count down to zero so they'll get in the car before I shut the door. Lots of things of people and imaginary people that I know aren't there, and something bad's gonna happen. If I shut the door while I'm thinking a negative thought, then the bad thought has the last word. The bad thought has the last word simply because I shut the door with the bad thought on my mind. So I have to open the door and say the right words. I think the good thoughts, positive thoughts, so I can shut the door while I'm thinking the positive thought. So, and I have my tics that I have is jerking my shoulders and shrugging my shoulders, and I've been shrugging and jerking my shoulders since I was like 10 years old. And it's jerking my shoulders, shrugging my shoulders. When I was in high school, I had a verbal tick of wind sucking. It was glocking or sucking in air and clicking my throat. Suck in air and click my throat. And I would do that in high school because my cousin picked on me for it, for doing it. He called it wind sucking. Wind sucking, like a horse. And so that's what that is about. So it's a verbal tick and a nonverbal and a motor tick. So motor tick is my shrugging my shoulders and jerking my shoulders. The verbal tick is sucking wind. So those are my verbal and nonverbal motor tics and verbal tics are repeating things. Another thing I did when I was a child. When I was a child, I would say something out loud. I would say, get in the car. I would say, I'm getting in the car. And then underneath my breath, I would say, get in the car. Get in the car. Or if my mom said, get in the car, I would say, get in the car. In the car. In the car. And I would repeat things like that. Now, there's a term for that when you repeat things. So those are some of my symptoms. Like, I would
Hold on.
say, get in the car. I would say, get in the car. In the car. So that's what that is about. So it's a verbal. My shrugging my shoulders and jerking my shoulders. The verbal tic is sucking wind. So those are my verbal and nonverbal motor tics and verbal tics are repeating things. Another thing I did when I was a child. When I was a child, I would say something out loud. I would say, get in the car. I would say, I'm getting in the car. And then underneath my breath, I would say, get in the car. Get in the car. Or if my mom said, get in the car, I would say, get in the car. In the car. In the car. And I would repeat things like that. Now, there's a term for that when you repeat things. So those are some of my symptoms, and I'll catch you later. I will catch up later. I will fill in more later. Also, in 1990, when my mom threw me out of the house and made me stay with my grandparents, I was standing at the foot of the stairs before I go upstairs, and I'd do neurotic counting and touching the door repeatedly before I went up the steps into the upstairs. And I finally went upstairs into the upstairs, and I got there and unloaded my cassette tapes and my stuff out of my bag when I was at my mom's, when I come back to my grandparents for the week. And I would set my tapes down in the same position that they're in. And Sunday evening, I put my tapes in that spot in a certain position. And I would try to keep my tapes in that exact position all week. I had to keep them in the position that they were in when I was last with my mom. When I was last with her, I laid everything in a certain position when I got back from being with her. So what I did was left them in that same position all week, so I wouldn't move them. An imaginary train that would take me back home to my mother's house, and it would be like, and when I want to go backward, I was walking. And I still do this. Walk forward, a pattern, and I walk a certain path through the house, and it's like there's an imaginary string tied behind me, and the back door has a string tied to it. And I'm at the back door with the back door knob, the back door, a string tied around the back door, a rope tied to the back door knob, the back door, and the other end of it is connected to my waist. So I'm walking through the house, and there's a path through the house, and I go to my room, and then I'm going to go back toward the back door. So when I go out the back door, I have to walk the exact same path so that the rope won't get tangled up around stuff. Because if I walk a different path, the rope will get tied up around stuff. So I don't want that to happen. So what I always do, walk the same path, and sometimes if I walk forward into a room and turn around a certain way to do something, and I have to turn back around the way I came. I either walk backwards or I turn back around in the way that I came from. If I walk 10 steps to the forward, if I walk 10 steps forward and then turn left to do something, I would turn back around to the right to face the direction I came from. I would not turn to the left and then turn back to the right. I would have to be in a position that's proper to turn and walk back the other way. Not turn around and reverse my order, because that would mess up the. So these are some of my obsessions.
All right, guys, that is a little bit of my some of my things. I just wanted to put that on record, and I'll edit this. McSpeed One, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your support. Laura Lee, Queen Bee, Laura Lee, thanks for sharing and opening up. Queen Bee, Evil Betty, thank you for coming in. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.